I am buying a house at a 4% interest when in today's market, interest rates are at an all-time high. Why a seller would want to subject to a deal is for so many reasons. You have to understand that when somebody is willing to subject to a deal, it's because they have a problem. They have a problem. And you have to learn to identify what that problem is. And once you learn to identify that problem, you identify the pain, then you're able to understand, hey, this is a subject to deal. Now, for a subject to deal, you don't need no credit. You don't need no credentials. And most of the time, I'm buying my deals with zero cash out of pocket. And the way I'm doing that is by identifying the problem. I'm going to talk about a property that I just purchased through subject to. 2005 Atlanta Drive in El Paso, Texas. These young ladies bought this property over a year ago. They could not put this property on the market because they overpaid for it. And at the time when they wanted to sell, they couldn't sell because they were going to be negative. Meaning they bought the property for $140,000. They owe $136,000. And if they were to go and put this property on the market, let's say at the same price that they bought it for, $140,000, after paying realtor fees, after paying closing costs, they were going to actually have to bring money to the table in order to sell this deal. Now, there are many sellers out there that have just bought a house and for whatever reason, whether they lost their job, whether they're military and they're leaving and they're getting deployed or they're getting stationed elsewhere, whether somebody's going through a divorce, whether somebody got a new job and has to relocate in time, there are people with these problems that have no equity in their deal and they can't go traditionally because they're going to have to pay to sell this property. This specific example of 2005 Atlanta is somebody that was leaving town. They couldn't afford 2 mortgages. When we were able to identify this problem by having a conversation, the relationship was built. This seller actually is going to make money on this deal. This seller is making $3,000 by selling it to me. It was very simple. Instead of the seller paying commissions, paying closing costs, I was able to subject to their note, meaning I'm taking over that current mortgage in play at a 4% interest rate. I am buying the terms. I'm giving the seller $3,000, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to rent it. I'm going to create a cash flow for myself. I am taking over that current note. I am not going through the banks. I am not notifying the banks. I am not showing tax returns. I am not pulling my credit score. I ain't doing any of that. So the reason why these sellers wanted me to buy the house is because now they made money. They're making $3,000 instead of them paying to sell their property. I am creating that win-win situation because now I am taking over a note. I am buying a house at a 4% interest when in today's market, interest rates are at an all-time high. Today, prime is 8.5% interest, double of what I'm buying this house for. The reason why the seller would want to sell me this house through subject to is because they're maximizing their dollar. They're able to move to whatever city or state, not worrying about having to pay a second mortgage because they can't afford that. And the reality of it is there are so many sellers in this exact same situation that can't sell their house because of the market that we're in. Buyers cannot afford to buy, so the houses are starting to sit on the market a lot longer. But you need to learn to identify sellers' goals and be able to create that win-win situation and go out there and understand everything still goes through the title company. The title company is going to close this deal. Title company is going to close this deal. I'm going to take over I took over the current note. I'm taking on the ownership of the property. And we're able to create that win-win situation because now the seller left town and I was able to get another cash flowing asset. Let's grow, baby.